Well, hello there everybody and welcome back to Formula 1, the original game for PlayStation, for round 16 of the championship.
Welcome to Suzuka, Japan, the scene of round 16 of this year's championship.
There he is everyone, the legend himself, Mr. Murray Walker. And I have to say, when Murray eventually disappears off this mortal coil, this channel will be in at least a whole month of mourning because Murray Walker is one of my all-time commentary heroes. Anyway, enough of that because Murray's going to live forever, so let's just carry on now with our protagonist for this evening. It is of course once again Mr. David Twat Coulthard in of course the glorious Williams from 1995. We're going to come in for our pit stop now so that this is all that we need for the race, and Finally, we've got everything we needed sorted out for the car now. We've got the fuel sorted out. We've got the fact that the AI now pit sorted out. And we have now got sorted out the tyres as well. So we know exactly what we're doing as we go into these final two rounds. Which means it's now a straight battle to see whether David Coulthard can actually win this championship. Because my expectation now is getting very, very high indeed as we reach the final two rounds. Because I think there's a chance he may be able to do it because of everything that we've learned going throughout this series. And basically because we've got the AI to stop as well, which has completely randomised the finishing grid. Yes, completely randomised it because obviously some of the cars are getting held up in the pits, and of course you know this game has got a lot of glitches and bugs in it, which means that I think probably quite a few of the cars are actually coming in for more than one stop. Some of them may be coming in for 3 stops. So this is really randomising the grid order when they finish, which is absolutely great news as we're in the final 2 rounds of this championship. So there goes Mr. David Twat Coulthard in, of course, the glorious Williams. Oh, almost binned it there, David. Almost binned it there. In the Williams of 1995 as we go underneath now the bridge. Yes, the bridge, because this is a figure of 8 circuit, the only figure of 8 circuit on the calendar. And you actually pass yourself from earlier. Yes, it's a bit like Austin Powers, yes, from 7 seconds ago. Anyway, here we go, out for our first qualifying run. Let's see what time Mr. Coulthard is going to pull in. Well, of course, it's his first lap out of the pits, so it's going to be an absolutely terrible time. Absolutely terrible time. Schumacher's done a 1:29 for this sector, and Coulthard is going to finish, I think it's probably going to be 2 minutes. Is it going to be 2 minutes? Something like that, anyway, before he gets past this sector. There's the Mobile 1 sign, and as we go on to it, that was, of course, our sector time, and it's a 1:58. So this, of course, is going to be a terrible time, but he's going to go out and do another qualifying lap and see if he does any better as we go past the grandstands, and you see all those hundreds and thousands of little sprinkles in the, look at them, look, all cheering DC, go no, actually it's Japan, so they would be cheering one of their Japanese drivers, wouldn't they, which is probably Ide, is it Ide? Oh, 24th at the moment for Coulthard anyway. Is it Uji Ide? I can't remember. There was other Japanese drivers in 1985, I'm sure there was, I just can't think of them offhand. So this is our first qualifying hot lap for Mr. DC. Let's see what he does. Schumacher's on a sector time at the moment of 47 seconds. Let's see how close Coulthard manages to get to that time as we go past more of the grandstands in the background. Look at them, they're going crazy. And we've got the signs as well. We've got Mobile 1, we've got Casino. What else have we got? Marlboro signs. Oh my goodness, of course. They were allowed cigarette advertising back in 1995. You can't do that today, of course. And they've got another sign in the background. That says Fuji 2012. Wow, I think that was an advert for the Olympic Games, was it, in 2012? We'll have to have a look at that if we can later on and see how we do. So Coulthard's now going to go through second sector time. I actually missed the first one because I was waffling on and wasn't looking at the screen at the bottom. Canon cameras. Oh my goodness, who remembers Canon cameras? They were the gods in 1995. Yes, indeedy. Now, of course, it's just GoPro, isn't it? Yes, everyone loves a GoPro. So we're going to get close to Mr. Schumacher's time of a 1:28 for this sector. And after that is going to be, oh no, 29. Oh dear. Almost 3 seconds behind there on that sector. So this is now going for the last sector through the gorgeous 130R section of the Japanese circuit as we go underneath the Shell sign now and through this very, very tight last chicane. Very, very tight, lads. Very, very tight indeed. Let's see if we can get through and see what our time's going to be. Well, it's not going to be very good, but it should get us somewhere up the grid. We are going to qualify, lads. Oh, my goodness. Of course, forgetting about the huge gaps between the timings in 1995. I mean, in today's standards, that would have put you in last place with a 2-second gap. At least last place, but of course in 1995, with at least a 10-second gap between the fastest car and the slowest car, I think that was about right. Maybe 7 seconds, 6 seconds, something like that anyway. But of course, so 2 seconds has put us in 6th position, which is absolutely fantastic. In fact, in the first World Championship point, of course, which is 6th place. This is where we're going to start. Oh, it's David's having a little bit of trouble here trying to get past his Sauber. It doesn't matter because he's going to come into the pits, of course, because he's done his lap now. He's done his lap. So he gets part. Oh no, the Sauber's not letting him pass. The Sauber's not letting him pass. Anyway, as I record this video, unfortunately, oh no, he's at the rear wing of the Sauber. How unfortunate. Anyway, as I record this video, unfortunately, there has been no real life Formula 1 because they are on holiday. The lazy little gits. Yeah, they take 3 weeks holiday. Unbelievable. Ponce around circuits for 21 races a year, driving round in circles, getting all the adoration, the money, and all those lovely ladies, yes, just falling at their feet. And what do? They get 3 weeks bloody holiday, mate, don't they? 3 weeks bloody holiday. It's bloody outrageous, it is. Absolutely bloody outrageous. So unfortunately, there's no race that I can comment on. So we're just going to have to go through it and just commentate completely on this, our virtual race of 1995, which is good actually because we are at a crucial point. So we need to concentrate fully because I do tend to go off on a little tangent talking about Google and stuff I've seen on it and Reddit and all that crap before we actually get into the race. So now I can concentrate fully on this race. And of course, the next race in 2 weeks' time will be the final round of the championship. Only 17 rounds in 1995, of course. And then we will get to see what happens in this championship. So now we know what to do. Changing the tyres and the front wing because we've got damage. Now the fuel is going to be just about the halfway stage, and that will give us 8 laps of fuel. Let's fill them up, lads. Well, just gone a little bit over, just in case, because of course the Suzuka circuit is a little bit. Look. Oh, blimey! I thought we had a little glitch there. But no, we were waiting for the Sauber to come in, which is fair enough. So it looks like we're going to start in 6th position for the race. So now it's time for my favourite part, the grid. Yes, here we are, round 16 of 17, the Fuji Television Japanese Grand Prix from Suzuka. In pole position, it's Michael Schumacher. Second place for John Alesi. Third position for Mika Hakkinen, the McLaren Mercedes. Fourth place for Damon Hill. Fifth position for Gerhard Berger. Sixth position for David Twat Coulthard. Seventh for Eddie Irvine in the Jordan Peugeot. Eighth for Heinz Harold Frentzen in the Sauber Ford. Ninth for Herbert in the Benetton Renault. 10th for Ruby Barrichello, and 11th for Oliver's Penis. 12th position, it's Mika Salo. In 13th place, it's Suzuki in the Ligier Mugen Honda. In 14th, it's Ukio Katayama. 15th position for Gianni Morbidelli. In 16th place, it's Mark Blundell. 17th for Carl Wendlinger. And in 18th position, it's Luca Badoa. 19th place for Pedro Lamy in the Minardi Ford. In 20th position, it's Taki Inui in the Footwork Hard. In 21st, it's Montemini in the Pacific Ford. And in 22nd, it's Pedro Diniz in the 40 Ford. In 23rd, it's Roberto Moreno in the 40 Ford. And bringing up the rear once again is Bertrand Gasso in the Pacific Ford. Okay, so here we go then. The excitement mounts as the 5 lights go out and we're going to say go, go, go. And it's away we go for David Coulthard once again. An absolutely horrendous start. Well, not too bad. In fact, he lost 1 position to the Jordan Peugeot as we go into turn 1 now. This is going to be a complete cluster. Oh, they're all grouping together with each other. Look, they're all darting all over the place. So David Coulthard holding the 7th position. So he's only lost 1 position from the start, which is pretty good going, as you can see. But we're going to see if we can get past some of these cars now. Of course, in front of the Jordan Peugeot, we've got one of the Ferraris. That's either Gerhard Berger or and Ferdy Mora's just gone offline. Yes, he's now famous because he's in my YouTube video and I forgot to turn off the notifications. What a plum. Anyway, we managed to get past the Jordan Peugeot, now up into 6th position, and the next target is the Ferrari. Now, of course, we are actually racing the leaders. Yes, actually racing the leaders. This has all got to do with the fact that we now have the fuel situation sorted out and the other cars actually coming for their pit stops. So they are also light on fuel as well. So it really does make this championship come alive, as we are now going to try and pass the Ferrari. In front of the Ferrari, we have our teammate. I do believe it's Damon Hill, the greatest F1 driver in the history of the world ever. Sort of. Can we get past? Oh, it's contact with the Ferrari. Oh my goodness, is that Berger or is that Alesi? I'm not quite sure. It will tell us as we've completed lap 1, of course, at the bottom of the screen. But until then, we just got to guess because there's no driver names above the car, so we don't know who it is. But now it doesn't matter because we're going through the 130R complex, as you can see. Let's see if we can get past this Ferrari before the next very, very tight right-hander. And we're going to give it the full beans. Oh, watch it, David, getting onto the curbs there. One little tiny touch of those curbs and you'll spin out like a top. He lost a little bit of ground there, but he's managed to catch up to the back of this Ferrari, and there's contact from behind. Oh, and he was off-sighted there and went onto the curb, and so had to slow down once again. We're about to cross the line on lap 1, still holding on to 6th position for DC. And the car in front is indeed Gerhard Berger in that Ferrari. Yes, Gerhard Berger in the Ferrari, who's got Damon Hill, our teammate, of course, directly in front of him. So this is now lap 2, and we are 2.907 seconds behind the leader, which just happens to be Michael Schumacher in that Benetton Renault of 1995, the all-conquering Renault. Cheat. Anyway, of 1995, of course, which won the championship. Yes, and Damon Hill didn't, and he was very, very upset about that. Very, very upset indeed. But anyway, no time for this waffle. It's time to try and get past Gerhard Berger's Ferrari if we can. He's got Damon Hill in front, and in front of Damon Hill there is John Alesi in this sister Ferrari. Can we get past? Now we're less than a tenth behind Gerhard Berger. Well, you can see visually the gap now. You can see oh Jesus, look at that. Another punt for the Jordan behind, but he uses the opportunity to get past Gerhard Berger. Wowzers, absolute wowzers there. So up into 5th position now. Our next target is our teammate. It's Damon Hill. Go on, nick that inside, DC. Oh, steady on. Went onto the dirt there. Have to be very, very careful, of course, for not spinning out once again. But holding on to 5th place for DC. Wow, this championship is just getting really, really too exciting for me now. It's getting too exciting as we now go down the hill, which means we can power on the power. And look, we are actually catching the cars. There's no slipstream effect in this game, unfortunately, but we are starting to catch the cars in front. That's all down to the fuel. All down to the fuel as we get very, very close to Damon Hill. He does onto the right-hand side to try and get past the Ferrari. There's contact with the Ferrari as we go into the final very, very tortuous chicane. Oh, and DC tries to get... Oh, there's contact with his teammate Damon Hill. But has he got a run now on Damon Hill as we go and start the next lap of this Grand Prix? Still holding on to 5th position. He's given it the full beans, everyone. He's Mr. DC. He's given it the full beans, but at the moment he can't quite catch Damon Hill. No, so we're still going to hold on to this 5th place. Now in front of Damon Hill is John Alesi, and in front of John Alesi is one of the McLarens. I'm not quite sure who that is. It will tell us soon, hopefully. But that is a fantastic performance from the McLaren, whoever it is. There's 11 laps remain of this Grand Prix. We have enough fuel on board to last us... Here we are. So Schumacher in the lead. It's Mika Hakkinen in that McLaren in 2nd position. John Alesi in 3rd. Damon Hill in 4th. And DC Coulthard is in 5th place, of course. But now, once again, he's right up the gearbox of Damon Hill. Is he going to try and get past? Well, it's looking very, very dicey as we go through this rather complicated section of the Japanese squeezy circuit. Yes, it's rather complicated, this bit. Now we're going to go up to this sort of right-hand turn and go to this very, very tight left-hand. And this is the opportunity that DC can use if he can get a good run on the inside to get past Damon Hill, and he does do. Fantastic move there from DC. Gets past Damon Hill. Up into 4th place now. Next target is the Ferrari of John Alesi. John Alesi darts off to the left-hand side. DC tries to go around the outside on the right-hand side, but doesn't quite manage to pull off that manoeuvre as the Ferrari is now battling with this McLaren of Mika Hakkinen, which is doing very, very well indeed. In front of us now, everyone, we have the leaders. These are all the leaders, and we try for a dart down the inside of John Alesi, but don't quite manage to pull it off, going through the 130R complex. And oh my goodness, don't look behind you, Dave. Don't look behind you. Or should I say DC? Don't look behind you, DC, because we have got the cars all trying to get past. Now this is going to get very, very tight and dicey. Are we going to get a punt up the backside like we usually do? No, it's okay. We go through. Look, there's the big wheel in the background as well at the Japanese circuit, because of course there's a fairground off to the left-hand side, which is absolutely fantastic. So you can go on one of the rides, throw up everywhere, and then go and watch the Grand Prix on a Sunday afternoon. What could be better than that? What could be better than that? Anyway, after 3 laps now, Schumacher is still in the lead. Alesi is now in 3rd position, where you can see visually these are the leaders. Alesi in 3rd, Mika Hakkinen in 2nd place. Look, he's desperately trying to get past that McLaren, and DC's getting very, very close to the back of John Alesi's Ferrari. They are darting about all over the place. Oh my goodness, did you see the Ferrari jump there? That's one of the many glitches in this game. The Ferrari seem to jump at certain points and at certain times during going around these circuits. Yes, I have noticed that. Another little glitch. It only seems to affect the Ferraris as well. I haven't noticed it happening on any other cars. So why that is, well, nobody knows. We'll have to ask the people who originally coded this game. Oh wait, they might not actually still be with us because it was 20 odd years ago, wasn't it? 20 odd years ago, yes. Anyway, hopefully they are, hopefully they are. I should think they are. They were probably young men when they programmed this sort of game, because most game coders and designers back in the 90s would have been young people. You wouldn't get any old farts of 50 designing video games, would you? I mean, they just wouldn't bother, would they? No. Anyway, so this is the fourth lap now. Schumacher's still in the lead. Hakkinen in second place. Alesi in third. And David Coulthard is in fourth position now, as we're about to go through the 130R complex once again. Very, very tight left, but you just keep on the power. You don't... Oh, Jesus Christ. Very, very close to the cars in front now for DC. Wow, that was very, very close as we go down. Now, is he going to use this to advantage? Well, he sort of dived down the inside. And, of course, Alesi has now got past Mika Hakkinen in that McLaren. So he's down to third place. And John Alesi's up into second position. Oh, my goodness. As we start the next lap, as we go underneath the Fuji television sign. This is now lap 5, of course. 4 laps completed. Schumacher still way out in front. Well, I say way out in front. He's not really, because he's being harried quite quickly by the Ferrari of John Alesi, and he's trying to get past. Look at this, he's trying to get past the Benetton. They're all sort of, look, they're bunched together, horribly bunched together there. Look at this is unbelievable scenes. Can DC use this to advantage? Well, he's trying to sneak down the inside of the McLaren, but at the moment can't quite pull that off. There's 9 laps left of this Grand Prix. Now we're going through the complicated section once again, which means there's no chance for Coulthard to get past. Getting very, very close to the McLaren line. Now, if he can go in deep into this very, very tight left-hander, he may be able to pull a switch move on the McLaren once again and get past. Is he going to do it? Yeah. Oh, he tries. No, the McLaren's lost its rear wing. Oh dear, it's disastrous for Mika Hakkinen. Total accident once again from DC. But he has got past, up into third position now. Third position for David Coulthard. So now our next target is, of course, John Alesi. Oh my goodness, and he dives down the inside of John Alesi. That was an absolutely fantastic move. Oh no, as I say that though, John Alesi gets back at him and he's taken off his front wing. This could be disastrous for Coulthard, because of course he can't come into the pits like he used to be able to do and fill up the car, because we're on a fuel strategy. So we have to come in when it's time to come in and not before. Otherwise we will run out of fuel or run out of tyres. Oh my goodness, so we're going to have to sort of limp our way around in third place at the moment with no front wing on the car. It just creates a little bit more understeer and a little bit more oversteer, so it's not too bad. We can live with it. Only got a few more laps to go now before we have to come in for our stop anyway. So we start the next lap in third position with no front wing. John Alesi is harrying Michael Schumacher. I think he might actually get past him going to this corner. Is he going to get past? Oh no, it's contact. Yes, he does get. Oh, more contact. Jesus Christ on a stick. But yes, he managed to get past John Alesi. Now he's in the lead. Michael Schumacher is down to second position. It's going to be very, very difficult, because of course with our understeer and oversteer problems, to try and get past these two leaders. So we may just have to hang on and wait for our pit stop, and then see if we can take the fight to the leaders a little bit later into the Grand Prix. So John Alesi is currently in the lead, and we're less than half a second behind in third place. And in the middle of this sandwich is Michael Schumacher, of course, in the Benetton Renault. So we come up once again to this very, very tight left-hander, and unfortunately we would be able to do a switchback on Michael Schumacher, but because we got no front wing, we're just going to slam into the back of him instead and see if we can get past him that way. But it didn't quite work, so we're holding on to third place now. Herbert's done our fastest lap of 2 minutes. 2 minutes? Is that fast? Is that really fast, Herbert? Anyway, let's see if we can get past Schumacher. He sort of dives off to the left-hand side and covers off the line, so he can't get past. But he's still holding on steadfastly to this third position. I think it's 2 more laps and then we're going to have to pit. 2 more laps, I think. So we're going down a hill once more, underneath the Mobile 1 sign. Let's see if we can do anything about these leaders. 5 laps completed now. Oh, Schumacher dives over to the left-hand side and blocks us off once again. Oh, but they've gone into the pits. I don't believe it. This is fantastic news. But as I say that, there was a Benetton, I think, trying to get past us there. But 2 of the leaders have gone into the pits. That's John Alesi and Michael Schumacher. So we are going to go into provisional lead of this race. But of course, we haven't pitted yet. Wow, I've never seen the cars actually pit before us. That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. But they have done. They have pitted before us. So I think we may have to come into the pits early as well, because I don't want to risk the fuel, because of course Japan is a longer circuit, so I'm not quite sure whether the fuel applies to the length of the circuit either. You know, so it's usually 8 laps, but is that all dependent on how long the circuit is? I'm not quite sure. So I think to play it safe, we're going to go... Oh, DC went onto the grass there, and he's lost the position, and he almost lost 2 positions there to the Ferrari, but he managed to take the Ferrari's rear wing off, which of course must be John Alesi. So he's now down to 2nd place, just behind Johnny Herbert. But I think he's going to come in on lap 7 just to play it safe, yes. Because we do not want to run out of fuel. That would be disastrous as we're into the final dying seconds, or should I say half an hour of this championship, because it'll all be over on the end of the next round, which is round 17 of course. And of course you know where that's going to be, don't you? I'm not going to tell you, just got to guess. Don't forget it's 1995, so it won't be Abu Dhabi. No, it definitely won't be. So we go down the hill once more, in 2nd place at the moment for DC. Let's see if we can... Oh no, he's not going to catch up. Look, he's way ahead now, is Johnny Herbert. But are we going to come into our pits early? 1.487 seconds behind Johnny Herbert now. So let's have a look. I think he may be... He's sighting it up. Yes, DC comes in early for his pit stop and just manages to graze the wall there. Of course, no front wing on the car, so it's very, very difficult to maintain control. So DC comes in on lap 7 for his pit stop. And we are going to put in, I think, a little bit more than half of our fuel load to make us get to the end of the race with no problems. We've got to repair our rear wing and our front wing though, which is going to add a huge amount of time. There's the fuel going. Oh look, there's more cars coming in. Actually, we've gone a little bit higher than halfway because we want to make sure we don't run out of fuel, and we're going to get past a huge amount of cars coming to the pits. It's such a glorious sign now to see all these cars actually coming in for a pit stop on a 25% race. Of course, there's a lot of 25% races in these video games where they don't come in at all. F1 2001 springs to mind for the PlayStation 2. The cars never pitted on a 25% race. In fact, neither did they in 2002 or 2003 either. The first game that allowed a pit stop was F1 2004, or F1 04 as it was called, for the PlayStation 2, which if you did a 50% race, it did allow for 1 pit stop. Yes, but if you did a 50% race in any other games of 2001, 2002, 2003, the cars still didn't pit. No, they still didn't pit. So there you go. A little bit of mindless information for you from the Hookstars adult brain. Yes. And spending far, far too many years playing F1 video games as Coulthard goes off the circuit. He's 26 seconds behind Johnny Herbert now. Wowzers. Is he going to be able to catch up that deficit? Or hopefully, I think Johnny Herbert hasn't come into the pits yet. So in front of us now we have a Ferrari with no rear wing on, so we managed to pass him pretty quickly up into 5th position already. Next target is one of the Jordan Peugeots. That's either Eddie Irvine or Rubens Barrichello. As we go down the hill now, let's see if we can get past this Jordan Peugeot. Just look at the way the tyres glint as they're going around. That's a really nice sort of special effect, isn't it? Especially for a PlayStation 1 game. They didn't have to put that in, but they did. Of course, I haven't seen that on any other PS1 F1 game, I have to be said. Well, there was one called F1 Racing Championship, but that wasn't sort of that sort of effect. It made the tyres look like giant licorice all sorts, in fact. Yes, giant licorice all sorts. Lovely. Anyway, 6th position at the moment. Oh, wait a minute, no, cars have come into the pits. As I say that, we've gone past me up to 4th position now for DC. 4th place for DC. Next target is, it's Rubens Barrichello in that Jordan Peugeot. Rubens Barrichello. Now look, this is already shaking up the grid because we've got possibly mid-range cars in the lead of this race. But hopefully, I think they haven't come into the pits, that's why they're in the lead. So, in 1st position at the moment, we've still got Johnny Herbert. In 2nd place, that must be the McLaren. Is that still McHackenen? I'm not quite sure. But in 3rd position, we've got Rubens Barrichello in that Jordan Peugeot. And just behind him, of course, is DC, our driver of choice for this championship. And hopefully, we will see if we can get some more points in the bag. Now, of course, we're approaching this corner now, where DC is going to try and get past Rubens Barrichello by taking the tighter line in. Oh, I think he's too far back though. He is too far back. Oh no, he isn't. There he goes. Wow, that was like taking candy from a baby, and he sails past Rubens Barrichello in the Jordan Peugeot up into third position now. Yes, third place for David Twat Coulthard. And next target is the McLaren. Off Hakkinen. It is Mick Hakkinen. Wowzers. Let's see if we... Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. We've got the greatest F1 car in the history of the world ever. It's the 40 Ford in front. Oh, this is going to hold up the McLaren, and it's going to hold us up as well, I do believe. Oh, very, very tight. Come on, 40 Ford. Don't forget you've got that superior horsepower. Yes, you just got to untap it. You just got to turn that restrictor that they put on your car off, and you'll be the fastest car on the grid. You really will, but unfortunately they weren't allowed to because, you know, rules are rules. So, oh, the 40 Ford holds up DC horribly once again as we go through that final chicane there. But he does get past now, so up into third position, is it? Yes, third place, because Johnny Herbert is still in the lead at the moment as we go past the pit lane. So, Herbert after 9 laps is in the lead. Hakkinen still in second place. Coulthard now up into third position. So we've got some good World Championship points in the bag if we can just carry on and maybe get past Hakkinen. Well, we're very, very close to Hakkinen. So it looks... Oh, wait a minute. What's that car in front? Is that another back marker? I think it must be because we are closing on him very, very quickly. Or is that the leader? I'm not quite sure. It may be the leader, Johnny Herbert. It looks like it could be in a Benetton. It's very, very difficult to see the liveries, of course, because this is the 1995 graphical engine. Oh my god, it was glorious, you know, absolutely glorious. But you know what they say, graphics do not make a video game, and it's quite true. It's the gameplay that's all that matters, and the gameplay in this game is absolute. That is a bloody Benetton. That is the leader, Johnny Herbert. Has he already come into the pits? I'm not quite sure. Maybe he did. But we are holding on then to third position, and a very, very good choice, very, very good chance of getting in. Oh Jesus, we go past Mick Hakkinen up into second place now. We just got Johnny Herbert, the leader, to get past now. Just Johnny Herbert to get past as we go down the hill. I think there's only a few more laps left. There's got to be just a few more laps left now. Underneath the Mobile One sign, into the 130R complex once again. For I think maybe the penultimate time. Oh, it might be 3 laps left. I'm not quite sure. Underneath the Shell sign for the very, very tight chicane. Here we go, sweeping right, sweeping left, and now we go down onto the start-finish line once more. So can David Twat Coulthard get past Johnny Herbert? So 9 laps have been completed now. Herbert's still in the lead, and Hakkinen in second place. Well, it was Hakkinen in second place, but now it's David Twat Coulthard. And there he is, Hakkinen down to third position, and Barrichello in fourth. So can we catch up to the back of Johnny Herbert in these final laps? 10 laps gone now, 10 laps gone. I think it's an 11-lap Grand Prix. I'm not quite sure, because of course it never tells you. Never tells you. Of course, there is lots of information in the background from Mr. Murray Walker saying about car positions and... Oh my goodness, he's hit Berger! I've never seen that in all my years of F1 commentating. It's a Lacey! It's a Lacey! He's taken the lead! And all that sort of good stuff from Murray Walker, but unfortunately not enough stuff on screen to tell us exactly what's going on in this race. Well, we got one bit of information. Hakkinen's on the fastest lap, a 1:57.985. Wowzers. We are now very, very close to the gearbox, the back end, the on derrière to Johnny Herbert in the Corsa Benetton. Let's see if we manage to get past him. And of course, at the end of this race, I would say that we'd have a look and see how Gabriele Tarquini is doing, but unfortunately he's not in this race. But he will be making a return very, very soon, because he will be driving our Jordan car in our F1 97 Championship season playthrough, which will be happening very, very shortly. Well, in about 4 weeks' time after the end of this championship is finished. Yes, we'll be back. As a car comes into the pits, that was, I think, a LaRousse car, and that gives, oh my goodness, that gives DC the opportunity he needed to cut past Johnny Herbert and get into the lead of this Grand Prix. And I think this is the last lap, everyone. I think it is. So here we go for the last time through Suzuka. 11 laps completed for David Twat Coulthard. Johnny Herbert now to second place. This is going to be absolutely fantastic for the championship. if David Coulthard manages to win this race. I've no idea how it's going to affect the point situation, but all I do know is it's going to be bloody close if this happens. Yes. So DC now in the lead. Wowzers. As we go underneath the cannon sign once more. Oh no, there's 2 laps remaining. There's 2 laps remaining, so we got this one and one more. Herbert in second place. Hakkinen in third position. Barrichello in fourth. Suzuki in fifth. And Carl Wendlinger in 6th place. Wowzers. Absolute wowzers. So let's see how DC does. Can he hold on to this lead, of course? Herbert only half a second behind, and they do have a nasty habit of trying to get past us into the corners, the cars that are behind us. So just, oh, did you see that? Did you see it in the background? That was Johnny Herbert trying to get past. They do sneaky little dive bombs, a little bit like the Hookster does. Yeah, a little bit like the Hookster does. And oh, now Johnny Herbert's getting very close to our back end. Very close indeed. We managed to hold on going through 130R. So this is now the last time for this race we'll be going through this complex. Tight. And DC completely cocked that up as we just go past the big wheel once again. Down the start finish line for the very last lap of this Grand Prix. And Johnny Herbert is right behind us trying to get past. DC goes off to the left hand side. There's still cars coming to the pits with only one more lap to go. And as I say, DC goes off to the left hand side to cover off the line to make sure that Johnny Herbert doesn't try and get past him, because we need every single World Championship point, because as you know, there's been quite a few races where DC has scored 0 points whatsoever. Absolutely nada. No points for DC, so we need as many points as we can for this final 2 championship rounds. Come on DC, you can do it. You can do it. We believe in you. We believe in you. Woozy. Wasn't he a character in the Grand Theft Auto San Andreas? I'm sure he was. Yes, he was the blind Chinaman, wasn't he? Yes, Woozy. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Right. Let's go through this very tight left-hander for the last time. It looks like we've got a back marker in front of us. It's a Jordan Peugeot, unfortunately. I shouldn't really call them back markers because they were very competitive, but unfortunately in this race they are, which may be due to the fact that the AI have stopped. And it's completely messed up the grid. So just going around this left-hander now. Going down the hill. Can we get past the Jordan Peugeot? The answer to that is no. We're not going to get past the Jordan Peugeot before the end of this race. And we've got to be very careful because Johnny Herbert in the Benetton is right up our Jack Jones. There he is. Look, he's gone off to the right hand side now. So we cover off the lines. We go through 130. Oh, it's contact with the Jordan Peugeot. It doesn't really matter if we lose our front wing now because we've only got this tiny turn. Now, can we use the Jordan to our advantage? No, we can't as we go into the final turn. Are we going to get shunted up the arse by Johnny Herbert? The answer to that is no. He's actually too far back. Still trying to get past the Jordan Peugeot. It doesn't matter because we are going to cross the line in first position, which means maximum World Championship points for the DC. Wowzers. Absolute wowzers. There we go. And there's still a car coming out of the pits on the very last lap. DC, first place. Fantastic. 27 minutes there. Now in the champion. Oh my God. I don't believe it. We're now in the lead of the championship by 2 points over Damon Hill. How the bloody hell did that happen? How the bloody hell did that happen? And in the constructors, we're in the lead, of course, with 132 points. Oh, I'm lost now. Absolutely lost. Anyway, there we go. So the next instalment of this exciting F1 series will be the last instalment, round 17, from somewhere that is not Abu Dhabi. Yes. I'd just like to say, as always, thanks so much for watching, everyone. And as always, there will, of course, be more later.